This is the Vision GS Moza sent for test and review about 7 weeks ago, and it's finally time to show you this new project and tell you what I like and what I believe should have been done better for that price. First thing I was happy to see unboxing the Vision was the different approach aesthetically speaking, and that will always be subjective matter and personal opinion, but nevertheless something different is always good news, and if those aesthetics clicks with your personal taste is great news for you. If you dislike it, just move on, as there are tons of great options those days. Size-wise, this is 310mm, and as fan of 300mm size steering wheels, I felt the difference into my hands, but was able to adjust fairly easy, and I haven't felt that much difference, if at all, from force feedback point of view. The shape have good balance with evenly spread weight around, and the 1 kg and 530 grams, including the quick release, compensate the slightly bigger diameter. Now, before I talk about the build quality, I want to cover the other unique part, which is the round screen with gyroscopic function. We have seen that concept before in the Bentley wheel from Fanatec, which 5 years later is still in development, so I can't give credits to Moza for innovative idea, but it looks like the Vision GS will be the first consumer-ready options for us. The gyroscopic function is to keep the digital screen level to the ground while rotating the wheel, which is very futuristic idea, but I believe hard to be achieved with digital screen, as those are a million pixels which have to readjust new position with every slight movement of the wheel turning around the axis, and probably needs lots of processing power and high refresh rate. I can see this function struggle with slight delay and micro stutters, problem we saw in the Bentley Model 2, which have been improved but still not perfect, and as I'm not computer engineer or programmist, I can't say if further firmware will improve that. In few words, if I look at it all the time, it feels distracting with those slight delays and micro stutters, but in real use case, when I drive and in the middle of the corner have to check at the display, it's always level to the horizon. However, I'm happy to announce there is option to turn off that gravity feature, and I'm perfectly okay if the dash rotate with the wheel. So, it's not perfect yet, but not that bad in action, and I can't call this as feature for main selling point. It is worth mentioning also the better quality of the screen in comparison to the FSR model, with way deeper black levels which match the Vocor screens we love so much. Lots of dashes to choose from, sliding finger up and down, left and right, and for those who have the patience can also create their own dashboards. Moving to the build, aluminum back case with carbon reinforced polymer front case in very complex shape, and it feels very strong with almost zero flex. 8 buttons in front with backlight, short travel and good resistance like those in Cube controls, and 2 more buttons behind with very good placement, just little below the usual finger grip position, which are very easy to access intentionally and hard to activate unintentionally. Color adjustment as well for further personalization, and nice set of stickers. Definitely happy with those in terms of stiffness, and the only thing I want to see is telemetry features for the lights behind. That being said, there is telemetry for the ref LED indicator on the top, which is cool to have, but in my opinion not the optimal way, as it can conflict with the RPMs and confuse those who rely on that for optimal shifting. I don't know if it's possible to move the telemetry on the buttons, which will be the best use case, but for now I don't see that option, at least on the testing software I have to use before release. If that become an option, I will pin a comment in the section below. Moving on, there are 2 aluminum knobs on each side for the thumb encoders with reasonable stiffness, which works perfectly for me with little grooves for grip and easy to reach ergonomically speaking. 3 aluminum knobs for the rotaries on the bottoms, which again are perfectly fine in terms of stiffness, and joystick on the left and finally 7-way funky switch on the right. It was finally time to put one of those after thousands of requests from the community. I think the positioning of the inputs, ergonomically speaking, is very good and won't take you much to readjust your habits coming from different steering wheel. Behind are the usual shifters we see in the Moza ecosystem with 2 magnetic pedals and 2 spring-based clutches in aluminum body and carbon plates with contactless buttons, which are the new standards in sim gears those days. They are in good positioning for my hand size, good in action, but for sure on the loud equish sound side. If you are a Moza user, you know what I mean. And of course the quick release attached and ready to go. Wireless with all the V2 Moza bases with the cross-pin spring-loaded connection, or wire for autonomic use with the Moza hub through JR connection. So, as you can see till now, everything looks great, but let's check the grips now. Moza decided to use that synthetic leather once again instead of silicone grips. That brings the need of stitching inside, and the worst part, around the thumb area. With bare hands is not comfortable at all, which is not a problem as I use always gloves, but those stitches will destroy my gloves with the time. First, I'm not convinced how durable this synthetic leather is, and I hope users who have that leather for a few years now will comment on that, so make sure to check the comment section. And second, stitches for racing wheels around the thumb area is not optimal at all for durability and comfort. This is expensive wheel at 800 plus euro, and silicone grips will give it the longevity it deserves and the necessary comfort. And speaking for the price, which is 829 euro or $749 in USA, there are lots of questions to be asked. If the KS model, which is loved from the community for the unbeatable price of 300 euro and use the same buttons and rotaries, it's made of carbon reinforced polymer and have silicone grips, what we get extra for the 500 euro plus on the Vision GS is aluminum back case, but still carbon reinforced polymer in front, aluminum knobs for the rotaries and display. To be honest, value for money doesn't make much sense to me comparing two products from the same producer. The KS is for sure great value, and the Vision as high-end product can be way better, at least in terms of comfort on the grips. However, with gloves is absolutely fine, but as I've said, those stitches on the thumb area will destroy gloves with the time. So, here is my conclusion. The price ends up in very competitive territory and few things must be improved. The first thing is genuine leather instead of synthetic, and definitely no stitching around the thumb area. Otherwise, good silicone anatomic grips. I also want to see LEDs behind the rotary encoders to see at any moment the position of the knobs. Definitely telemetry for the lights, including buttons, and improving the gravity feature. Moza created great competitive environment on the sim market from which all the users benefit, but the Vision GS is not one of those in my opinion, and in that price we'll have hard time with the competition. However, if you don't mind the stitching, discomfort, and use gloves, and aesthetics turns you really on, I'm not against this wheel, as the rest is absolutely fine. My goal is to criticize objectively the product because I want them to do better, and that is not just about Moza but every company in the sim market. It is definitely great to see they are doing something different, which for sure will be appealing for some of us. And I am also happy to have the chance to test this product and share my opinion with you guys. Happy racing, everyone!